Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Resilience Through Art and Culture, our opening night of the 40th Annual Institute of Global Leadership Symposium. Thank you so much for being here.
My name is Sophia Gabriel, and I'm a sophomore studying International Relations and minoring in Food Systems.
And my name is Emma Martin. I'm also a sophomore studying International Relations and minoring in Economics and Spanish. When Sophia and I began planning this event, we recognized that this year's symposium centers on risk and resilience in the modern world. Across panels, we are asking difficult questions about power, instability, global uncertainty, and institutional strain. But as we thought about what resilience actually looks like, not just in theory, but in lived experiences, we kept coming back to these deeper questions. How do people sustain one another in moments of risk? What allows communities to endure when systems falter? And finally, what carries identities forward when structure is fractured?
So earlier this year in my Music and Global Perspectives class, we asked a simple question. What is music actually doing in the world? Not just aesthetically, but socially, politically, spiritually. We explored how music expresses faith, carries memories across migration, shapes national identity, and gives language to political struggle. We looked at post-Khmer Rouge rebuilding in Cambodia, where the local theater was one of the first things to restart, even before some would call essential parts of society: funerals, politics, justice. What struck me the most was this. Music was not background noise. It was not decoration. It was infrastructure. It held communities together when institutions collapsed. It transcribed memory when official histories tried to erase it. It kept hope alive when silence was demanded. And that insight extends far beyond music. Art, in all its forms, does this work. It remembers, it resists, it rebuilds.
Art holds grief, joy, and identity. It creates belonging and language for experiences that systems try to reduce, control, or commodify. That is why an evening like this belongs in an academic symposium. Academic spaces are powerful as they allow us to create frameworks, research, and analysis. But analysis alone does not sustain movements or create a community.
Across countries, generations, and periods of upheaval, some of the most enduring forms of resilience have been expressed through art. In carceral spaces, where systems often reduce people to numbers, art reasserts personhood. It says, you are more than this structure. You are worthy of memory. You are worthy of a story. Art builds what oppressive systems try to fracture: collective memory, solidarity, and imagination.
Imagination is not a luxury.
It is a condition for resilience. If we cannot imagine something different, we cannot build something different.
So tonight is not a break from the serious work of the symposium. It is central to it.
If this symposium asks how we navigate risk in an uncertain world, art shows us how communities survive uncertainty by creating meaning together.
Tonight, we are honored to be joined by the artists who embodied this work.
First, Dr. Omékongo Dibinga, poet, rapper, and professor, who uses language as a call to civic responsibility and moral courage.
Second, Alpha Massaquoi Jr., born in Liberia, whose interdisciplinary art transforms materials like charcoal and coffee into vessels of memory and storytelling.
Next, Gregory Dubuisson, also known as Yazbthegreat, founder of Urban Pigeons, who uses fashion and design as forms of cultural expression and community building.
And finally, Kent Weaver, artist, circle keeper, and restorative justice practitioner, who brings poetry and music into spaces of incarceration, where art becomes a tool of healing, accountability, and humanization.
Each of them demonstrates that art is not separate from politics. It is not separate from resilience. It is not separate from justice.
As we begin tonight, I invite you to listen with not only your ears, but with your memory and your imagination. Because art is not just something we consume, it is something that shapes who we are as individuals, as a community, and as a nation.
Thank you for being here, and please join us in welcoming our artists. To begin, we have Dr. Omékongo Dibinga. He is a poet, rapper, professor of cross-cultural communication at American University, and self-described upstander. Dr. Dibinga is known as the Upstander, a title that references his commitment to encouraging individuals to respond actively when they witness injustice. His work centers on civic engagement, cross-cultural understanding, and social responsibility. A trilingual poet, motivational speaker, television talk show host, and educator, Dr. Dibinga draws from both scholarship and performance to explore issues of identity, equity, and culture. With roots in Washington, D.C. and the Democratic Republic of Congo, his work bridges global and local perspectives on justice and community leadership. Through spoken word, hip-hop, dialogue, and education, he uses language as a tool for accountability and courage. His work reminds us that art is not passive. It calls us to act, to respond, and to stand up for one another. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Omékongo Dibinga.
We are living in a world faced with war on multiple mental and physical levels. We still got black wars against the police. We still got crack wars in the streets, unemployment at its peak, overcrowded prison cells and present-day hells, wars of Jews against Muslims over whether a created state is real, wars over Western or Saddam, American politicians arguing over the difference between smart and dirty bombs instead of smart children in dirty schools. I'm feeling like it's me against the world, and I'm starting to get ill without even thinking of Kim Jong. So North Korea does have the world spinning up on its axis right now. With these signs of the times in mind, I wake up every day with one burning question, and it takes me no less than 24 agonizing hours to answer. Am I going to die today? I said, am I going to die today? You see, I don't even bother watching my back anymore because I might get killed from the side today. Or maybe they'll finally get me in nuclear with bombs dropping from the sky today. Or maybe some religious fanatic is going to blow my behind up in a train station after deciding he wants to get closer to paradise today. Hell, I got to wonder if some insane and depressed pilot whose wife just left him is going to fly today. Right into the 13th story of my building where I just called my wife and tell her I got to rise in bed. Or am I going to get hit out from driving while black while driving on I-95 today? Or maybe some crooked cops that decide that some no good niggas' moms gotta cry today. All this while wondering if our leaders are gonna play chess with our lives today. Why today? Instead of getting caught up in all that today, I think I'm just gonna lose myself in the movement, the moment, I own it because it might be time to go. It only takes one shot for cops to release my soul because our community stopped by 55 those souls. So I decided that I'm gonna fight today because there's always just enough time left to be right today. I got kids looking for me to take a stand against wars in Korea, Iraq, and Afghanistan today. And so I gotta fight for this world to be safe for we. And you see, this is personal because I want my children to see my face next to the definition of complacency. And so I'm gonna fight this BS system with all of my might today because it's true that tomorrow never dies. But I might today. In a world where our visionaries are becoming so hopeless that they're losing their sight today. And so many perverted priests and pedophiles out there that I got to worry about whether my sons and daughters are going to stay tight today. While our leaders give the rich tax cuts and the poor tax cuts on educational spending. My students, they're expecting for me to do what's right today. Looking down at the end of the tunnel, I woke up seeing the light today. Because get this, nations may blow up and tie other nations out of spite today. And though I got my cell phone on, I may not have the time to call my mom to say goodbye today. Y'all might say that I'm paranoid today, but inhaling historical truths has got me high today. And so now I'm looking for heroines and heroes to help us stop my plight today. I'm even wondering if all the secondhand smoke finally gave me cancer today. So I'll dial 911 for emergency assistance, but Bin Laden answered today. You see, I just walk around thinking that something's going to get me, and I wonder why the hell you never ponder if you're coming with me. So you have to forgive me for recounting some of the signs of the time that we live in, because if ignorance is bliss, I know some of y'all forgot the hell we done been in. That we wondering if God is really going to be forgiven for all of our sinning, like killing each other in the name of religion. All I know is that I'm going to keep on fighting and never give in. So if I die before I lay my head to sleep today, I just pray to God my soul keep today. Guess I didn't need this mic after all. I figure I might as well turn it on. Somebody repeat after me. There can only be one me. That was terrible. Let's try it again. Say it like you mean. Let's pretend like we're talking about your life. There can only be one me.
There can only be one me.
There was no me before me.
There was no me before me.
There will be no me after me.
There will be no me after me.
And since I'm the only me
Since I'm the only me
that the world will see,
that the world will see,
I will be the best me
I will be the best me
that I can be
that I can be
for eternity.
for eternity.
Give yourselves a round of applause. What's all the effort is that? I learned how to rap, Mom. Okay. I shared that piece because that affirmation, because you got to remember, you're going to hear a lot of stuff over the next few days, but what you say to yourself is more important than what you say to everybody than anyone else says to you. So in all the stuff that's going on in this world, you have to ask yourself a question as an activist, as an artist, as an artivist, however you define yourself. You got to make sure that you affirm yourself every day you wake up and every day you go to sleep, because if you don't set your own intentions, you're going to follow the intentions that the world sets for you. And so you have to ask yourself, how do you affirm yourself every single day? I appreciate the introduction. That was awesome. Forgot to mention the most important part, that I am a Fletcher graduate. Fletcher graduate of Fletcher School. Great to be back here. Hey, check this out. Imagine a land in a place you never heard of, where children grow to soldiers, women rape and murder, men watching children die. They ask why. Do they got the proper cell phone too? Let me start over. Imagine a land in a place you never heard of, where children grow to soldiers, women rape and murder, men watching children die. They ask why. Do they got the proper so long? Kids go on out to try. Now imagine that your cell phones causing death and demise. Your PlayStation slay the nation, Xbox X out lives. Your laptop, the backdrop for death so it can function. Your desktop, a weapon of mass destruction. You ain't got to imagine, Drew, this all true. Your TV won't tell you because it's guilty too. Of violence in the Congo, they die so we can live, but you can change it all. And you ain't got to leave your crib. Turn your cell phone to a microphone and speak up. Tell computer companies to back up. You can save 1 million lives and help stop the violence if you could be brave enough to just end the silence. Why do I share that piece? As artists and activists, as students, I believe that we're called to speak on issues that the rest of the world does not speak about. And chances are when you walked in here, you didn't realize, you didn't think about the fact that you're actually wearing genocide by that cell phone that you have, by that laptop that you have, by that TV screen that you have, because the resources in there are coming from the Congo, where we've lost over 6 million people in a matter of 5 or 6 years. And while it's important that we speak about so many issues going on in the world, whether it's Gaza, whether it's Sudan, whether it's whatever it is, you have to remember at the end of the day, you're supposed to use your platform to speak up for all of the voiceless. You're supposed to use your education and your degrees to speak up for all of the marginalized. And it doesn't matter what part of the spectrum that you come from on this issue or that. I believe that you're sitting in this space. I believe that you came to this university because you believe in our common humanity. You believe in finding common ground in these uncommon times. And that's why we need your voice and your activism more than ever. It's not about whether you agree with me. We can disagree on so many issues, but if we have that fundamental belief that we all have the right to exist, then we fight harder for Congo. We fight harder for what's happening in our country right in America right now in these streets. And we use our arts as a tool for social change. Well, before I share this last poem, I just want you to think about the musicians that you listen to and the artists that you listen to. What do they inspire you to do? Do they inspire you to make change, or just want to go out there and have sex? Do they inspire you to be a conscious consumer, or do they inspire you to just want to go out and party? Our artists, our actors, our poets, our rappers, especially our rappers, are really letting us down in this moment. And so I call on all of you who have artistic skills in some way, shape, or form. Poet, MC, dancer, painter. Use your music, use your arts, use your skills to speak to the manner of the times that we live in right now. Because if you don't do that, at the end of the day, you end up being part of the problem and not part of the solution. Does that make sense? All right, awesome. So again, my name is Omékongo Dibinga. You can follow me everywhere. I have my 5th book's coming out this year. My most recent book is entitled Lies About Black People, How to Combat Racist Stereotypes and Why It Matters. My next book is entitled Trigger Words, How Leaders Bring People, How to Divide People with Political Language. Now we can bring each other back together. If you're ever in DC, teach a class on Jay-Z. I have a PhD on Jay-Z. Come out of my class, I appreciate it. Are we good? All right, one more piece. Well, let's do one more affirmation. Repeat after me. Today I give myself permission.
Today I give myself permission
to live life on my own mission.
to live life on my own mission.
I will live life by my own rules.
I will live life by my own rules.
And no longer listen to liars, haters, and fools.
And no longer listen to liars, haters, or fools.
I will take control of my own destiny.
I will take control of my own destiny.
And let no one get the best of me.
And let no one get the best of me.
For if it is meant to be,
For if it is meant to be,
it is up to me.
it is up to me.
Also, just make sure y'all stay in touch with each other. I'm very accessible. YouTube, all the social media. Just look up Omékongo. I want to help you all advance your work in any way that I can help as well. So let's talk about that. Well, let's end with some motivation. Can we end on a motivational message? You know, don't be depressed all weekend. Like, this could be a good thing, you know, to work with each other. They say that greatness is a choice. But what have you chosen? You've been frozen in time and broken in mind. For too long, the same song playing in your head. Living in breath, but better off dead. But who said that you didn't have the hour? Who said that you didn't have the power? Who said this is not your hour? You've been showered with a steady stream of words that kill your dreams. But since you're still breathing, then someone has lied to you. Tried to deny you of your own potential inside you. If you just decide to, then no one derides you. Don't even let them get beside you as you unearth the new you. Stop listening to naysayers and decide to do you. No more pity parties, sob stories, and boo-hoos. If no one told you that you're great, then let me be the first to. If you develop the thirst to drink from Faith's fountain, you'll develop the might to move mountains. You see, we remove tons of dirt to find 1 ounce of gold. So I ask you all to remove tons of hurt and just uncover 1 ounce of your soul. You'll set yourself on a true path of excellence, getting out of your passenger seat and driving your own car, reaching for the moon, but maybe only landing among the stars. You see, you have greatness inside you, but you must choose to be great. Blaze a path of excellence, leaving fear in your wake. All you need is already inside you. You just must believe in yourself. Grow towards your greatness and discover your true wealth. Thank you all for having me tonight.
Thank you so much for that. It was truly incredible and inspiring, and I'm sure I can speak for everyone here when I say I was truly starstruck and awestruck and speechless. So that was truly incredible. Let's give it another round of applause. Next up, I'm very excited to introduce
Can I just share one quick thing? One thing I also forgot to mention is that the first poem that I shared, I wrote over 20 years ago. It was right after 9/11. And the reason I wanted to share that with you as they get ready for the next part of what they're doing is because if we don't do the work to change the future, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And the same patterns happen over and over again. The poem could have been written today because enough of people of my generation didn't do the work to make sure that your generation wouldn't have to worry about this stuff. So keep doing the work so that the generation coming after y'all don't have to do the same poem 20, 30, 40 years later.
So next up, I'm very excited to introduce Yazbthegreat. also known as Gregory Dubuisson, also the director of Urban Pigeons. Artist Gregory Dubuisson, also known as Yazbthegreat, is an award-winning Haitian-American fashion designer, artist, musician, and founder of Urban Pigeons. Urban Pigeons is a luxury and streetwear fashion brand with a focus on culture and diversity. While Yazbthegreat is primarily known for his avant-garde fashion collections, he has also spent years on owning his craft of abstract paintings. His paintings explore celestial identity, Haitian symbolism, and the tension between the physical and spiritual, and ideas of beyond our earthly reality. With a highly intuitive and process-focused approach, the art unfolds in its own way, producing an end result rooted in ultimate freedom and nonconformity. Now, combining two passions, this next scene will feature a live painting by Yazbthegreat on a canvas dress that his painter, of his own creation. This immersive experience brings together the energies of the painter, the audience, the model, and the medium together as one community with a common goal to express itself.
Sorry, give us a moment. I have to set up on this already.
Dans les camions, on appelle la manger là. Elle a un petit mille, mais dans le fond, on connaît ses balances, des draps. C'est une menteuse, elle sait comment me menacer. Elle sait comment me menacer. Moi, ce que j'ai senti, c'est jamais assez. Baby, elle est dangereuse. Elle veut me toucher toute la nuit. Elle fait qu'elle est dangereuse. Et ça va doucement, doucement, allez doucement, et ça va doucement, doucement, allez doucement, allez ma douce, allez ma lèvre, allez ma douce, allez ma lèvre, et ça va doucement, doucement, allez doucement, allez. Souvent qu'elle est ma chérie, elle désire l'attention. Elle veut jouer la nuit, elle veut tiki elle sent la pression. Je vois ce qu'elle veut, yeah, ouais, yeah, yeah. Quand je l'avais pas dit, oh, 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 oh. Baby, oh, baby, what fuck on, baby, oh, baby, what fuck on. Ça va doucement, doucement, allez doucement, ça va doucement, doucement, allez doucement, allez ma douce. Allez ma douce, allez ma douce, et ça va doucement, allez doucement,
Wow, that was truly incredible and inspiring. Thank you so much, Yaz. He's gone now, but okay. Next, we have Kentel Weaver. Kentel Weaver is a restorative justice practitioner, artist, and formerly incarcerated person whose work centers on accountability, dialogue, and community healing. He's been practicing restorative justice for the past 6 years and works closely with the Transformational Prison Project supporting initiatives focused on justice reform and personal transformation. Also known as Stonecatcher, Mr. Weaver is a rapper, poet, public speaker, dedicated circle keeper in the practice of restorative justice, and a Tufts grad. Through both artistic expression and restorative justice, Mr. Weaver demonstrates that resilience is not only resistance, it is rebuilding trust, restoring humanity, and creating community where it has been fractured. Please join me in welcoming Kentel Weaver.
Good evening, how y'all doing? Good. Oh, it's good to see y'all faces in here. He gave something real powerful earlier, and I'm still touched by that. And that was definitely super dope. I didn't know what to expect when I came, so now I know. My name is Kentel. I am from Boston. Formerly incarcerated. I went to prison when I was 16, and I got out of prison when I was 35. So I did 19 years and 4 months. And my story started in Roxbury, and in Boston, in Boston, like wherever you grow up, whatever neighborhood you grow up in, that's where you kind of geographically anchor to. So I was like ripping and running the streets, trying to emulate whatever reputation that my older brothers had, and ended up landing me in prison at the age of 16. At the age of 18, I was sentenced to life in prison, and sentenced to die in prison. So my journey kind of started there. I kind of went upstate in the Massachusetts Department of Corrections system, was lost, still didn't really know who I was, still trying to figure out what my identity was at that time. And probably like 10 years into my sentence, the laws in Massachusetts changed, and it was saying that a person that was arrested for a crime like mine at my age was not incorrigible. And so I pretty much had a second chance, and my sentence went from life in prison to 15 to life with the possibility of parole. And while I was in prison, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. But then Tufts brought this degree program to the prison that I was in, MCI Concord, and it was a degree program where you could earn a bachelor's degree in civic studies and an associate's degree in liberal arts from Bunker Hill. So I tried it out. I didn't think it was something that I wanted to do because I felt like I knew I could come home, I could be a carpenter, I could be a laborer, I could be in a union, and I could get guaranteed money, and that was my main thing. It's like, not like just coming home and just being prepared for the freedom that awaited me, but actually staying home. So I was trying to figure out different ways to make my situation a lot more suitable for myself. So I met the director of Tufts University Prison Initiative Program. She came here named Hillary Bender, and she told me Tufts degree would probably hold some weight, and I wasn't really convinced because I had no idea what higher education was. I don't come from a community or a family where I've seen too many examples of what a higher education was, but I tried it out. And I ended up getting an associate's degree while I was there. I didn't get to complete the bachelor's degree while I was inside, so they let me finish it on campus right now. And I am in Spanish 3. This is my last class left. It's driving me crazy. It's hard. Spanish is getting the best of me, but it's okay. I graduated in a couple months, and it is. It's gonna be the type of education. And one thing I started to notice while I was doing higher education in prison was like the example that I was starting to set for people that didn't believe that a journey like this was possible. And that was kind of hard for me because I was used to being the example in like the worst ways. And then while I was in prison, I seen like all the damage that I did and the ripple effect of my actions. And then I started to see like, all right, I gotta change my thinking, I gotta change my behavior, I gotta change my attitude. So I started one thing at a time. And then I also recognized like the influence that I had while I was in there, and I never took that for granted. So what I used to always say is just like, I started doing the education thing in prison, and it kind of changed the culture in there. Them bringing programs like the Emerson Initiative Program, is it Emerson Prison Initiative Program or Boston College, and they have a program in there, and the Tuppet program, them bringing those programs in there kind of changed the culture of what prison was. And it was like we were no longer in there just playing basketball or just gambling at the tables. And Now we're going to the yard and we talking about philosophy and health and human rights and biology and all of these different things that we would have never been able to hold a conversation about, and proudly. So what we did was we just changed the definition of what cool was, and this whole symposium is about risk and resilience. And one of the biggest risks I did take was just betting on myself and believing that I would be able to accomplish something as big as this and be able to come to the school and not feel like that sense of imposter syndrome sitting in these classrooms or in these spaces where I feel like my voice was silenced. And I started to feel power every class and every semester that I completed. So I'm just grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be an example from the people that come from where I come from, and to be able to show them that like this opportunity is possible, and this is not a long shot, and it's very much within reach, as much as they don't want to believe. So when they get an email or a message, or they see me on a flyer at this school or wherever it may be. Last year I gave a TED talk, a TEDx Tufts talk about the importance of community, and the importance of opportunity for people like us coming home, because I started to realize that it was major to have resources like this, because they talk about reentry in Massachusetts, and reentry in Massachusetts isn't as clean cut as they say it is, and it's a lot more difficult for people like us coming home. So to have a resource like this, to have a resource like the Haley House, which was one of the organizations that we partner with, or North Suffolk Community Services, where we work with people who are dealing with substance abuse or mental health issues, or transformational prison projects, where I go inside DYS, where it all started for me, and I'm dealing with kids from 12 to 21, and I'm trying to talk sense into them and trying to show them that the life that they're living can only lead down two roads, and that's just the reality of it. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm not always gonna hit it out the park, and I'm not always gonna be able to sway them from like whatever lifestyle that they are living. But I know I at least tried. And I know at one point in time I didn't have that. So to be able to have that, and to be able to be that beacon of hope or support for somebody else, it's just it's a beautiful feeling. And I'm here because I do music also. I have the name Stonecatcher that I kind of adopted from Brian Stevenson. Stevenson has a book and movie called Just Mercy, and it's a chapter inside of this book called Stonecatcher. And Stonecatcher is probably, it's pretty much the person who stands in between the person who's getting the stone cast at him and the one that's throwing the stone, and you just step in as that voice or advocate on behalf of the person that's getting the throne cast at him. So I kind of ran with it. And a lot of people didn't know what the Stonecatcher stood for, and they thought it was like Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. I just let them think, I let them run with it. But it was a little bit of meaning behind it, and I've just been rocking with it ever since. And I do music outside of school, outside of work. I do music, and I try to be as impactful as possible with the music that I do, and affect change through that, because I think where we grow up, they only hear music through one lens, man. So I just try to give it to them through a different lens that they're not accustomed to. So thank you for inviting me, and thank you for your song.
They love it that I'm back in rare form. Now the people want to clap and cheer for 'em. It's funny how they disregard the days that they was moving kind of sus, but I remember it was acting weird towards them. But now I'm home, they rolling up and want to crack a beer for 'em and get close to them, but that's the fear for 'em. But no matter what they try to do, it was written. So that means it's about to be, and don't have a classic gift for 'em. Yo, when people see me, people see a ghost. TED Talks on different panels, then you see the post. Been feeling like it's not real until you see it close. Provided something that they needed most. Hope. Now fake friends wanna link in, old friends wanna crush. Jealous parents say they proud and all the haters dap me up. I play it cool cause I know the vibes. The truth is, I'm really cold as die. Free all my people that know me best will never see the light of day again. That's why I feel alone. It's different when you sober, ain't no running from your issues. I just put it in my verses, so that's why I'm in the zone. Steady building, I'm a known thinker. And you ain't even in the game, dog. You on the bleachers waving 4 fingers, droopy, and watch your mouth before I shape shit. Optimus Prime, peace wars, don't be the reason I go ape shit. People you eating off the plate with, I backstab you with the knife that you gave them to eat the steak with. The real ones is gonna embrace this, cause they've been waiting for the moment to set aside all the fake shit. They love it that I'm back in rare form. Now the people wanna clap and cheer for them. It's funny how they disregard the days that they was moving kinda suspect. I remember they was acting weird towards him, but now ain't home. They rolling up and wanna crack a beer for him, make it close to him. That's a fear for him. But no matter what they try to do, it was written. So that means it's about to be another classic year for him. Clear the lane, I'm on a mission now. Fleet planning 10 toes in position now. Fully loaded, different type of ammunition now. All of us, so it's just different now. You feel me? My young boy gonna destroy his whole future over greed, so it's hard to watch him fall. Cause he keep on doing things that guarantee he won't succeed. I try to tell him, so the truth is, it's hard to watch his mom. Heard the tremble in her voice, but she spoke about the better days of him and then reminded me of how my mother felt. Cause she will see that era of his years when he's back at rock bottom and consider something other than himself, or maybe not. They heard a rumor I was back, so they searched for me. Revenge is bittersweet, I played it perfectly. They get to see me rise above the mud with a smile, wipe the dirt for me. And know I'm about to win this game with certainty. I'm locked in, chances of losing getting slimmer. Adversity, my life was only new to the beginnings. I was down bad, but know I was after for something greater. This the tribe, the rest of them coming later. Yeah.
Nah, I think I got one more for you. Hey, yo, yeah, I appreciate y'all for inviting me. Yeah,
Before you say the wrong thing, you should think about it. That's a word from the line. Rather great breath, if you really want to go, I can make a phone call, send a word to the God. Swear with the vibe. Think about the outcome. We can get this money, we can merge and collide. Never seen any O's printed on the check, but it's funny because I feel I'm on the verge with the tribe. Sauce with the drip, big dog, thoughts in the gift. No matter what the odds we against, they selling what they blind. Heard about their background, know it's all cap, but then y'all be convinced, so it calls me the vent. To see their true colors, it was nothing out of pocket, they caused me a thing. I can take the high road, be a bigger man, I can stoop to their level, to these paws, leave a print. Roots in the town, by the time I'm million members to stay with their boots on the ground, but the truth is you clown. Rap about what you gonna do, but let's talk about what you do now. Tough it. Ain't walk a day in my shoe, brother, you cannot speak on the life. Said it's a gamble, I hop in the streets, and if you don't roll, you cannot speak on the price. If only they counted me out, then I came off the pitch and I balled. Soon as they said I was done, and I came off the trench with my dogs. Ain't seen nobody put on for the city yet since I've been gone. The weight of the word on my shoulders, the truth is the in my palms. Facts. Hit the ground running as soon as I got up the kid and I told up my homies it's up. Me and my word, cause I come from a city that's real as this one of y'all know me the boss. Hate when they act like they want me to win, but it's clear that they jealous, they want me in touch. Thought I would die in a prison, I got out of show the potential, like them in the dust. Yeah, like them in the dust. Yeah, like them in the dust. It's them and it's us. Yeah. They told me I'm not on edge like a winter, just ignited the fuel. Shot to the top in the blink of an eye, and I picked the position, divided the dues, provided the jewels. Take up the dress, but then they make the tip, and I get amused. Don't be faithful with people who hate it, cause me and I'm alike, they don't get confused. Never complain when they gave me the scraps, I just made it a nail. I graduated the street, but I still get the itch from the days that I played in the field. I know that my tracks are bad, that they take me the drip. The fact that I came out the light and I wanted to stand on my truth was my greatest appeal. I navigated the streets and then learned how to live in the stars. I tasted the tears and the losing to death when I figured the odds. I could dance with the devil, get back on my shit, or just give it the dog. It's smaller than number of O's on the check when I finish the job. But I'm running as soon as I got out the kid and I told my homies to stop. Man on my work cause I come from a city that's relatives. One of y'all know me to block. And when they act like they want me to remember, it's clear that they challenge and want me to tough. Thought I would die in the prison, I got out and showed the potential, I them in the dust. Yeah, yeah, it's them and it's us. It's us. It's us. Thank you.
Wow, that was amazing! That was so true! Thank you so much. That truly brought the energy and everything that we needed for tonight. Next up, I am very honored to welcome Alpha Massaquoi Jr. Alpha Massaquoi Jr. was born in Liberia, West Africa, and is an interdisciplinary artist and poet whose work examines memory, material, and inherited narratives. His practice engages both personal and collective histories, often exploring themes of migration, identity, cultural community, and transformation. Working across mediums, Mr. Massaquoi uses materials such as charcoal, coffee, gouache, and soft pastels, substances traditionally associated with specific functions, and often recontextualizing them within visual storytelling. He transforms these materials into vessels of memory, displacement, and resilience, challenging us to reconsider not only what art is, but what materials themselves can carry. Through layered compositions, his work reflects on how stories are preserved, altered, and passed down, often holding memories in ways institutions cannot. In doing so, he invites viewers to rethink convention and see art as a space where history and identity remain alive. Please join me in welcoming Alpha Massaquoi Jr.
Hello everyone, my name is Alpha Massaquoi. I am originally from Liberia, West Africa. Before I get started, I want to tell you guys a little bit about Liberia. Liberia was created by 3 slaves that decided to go back home to Africa to establish a nation with the help of the U.S. government. That didn't work out, so for a very long time, we lived through a lot of wars, and unfortunately, I lived through one of those wars, and yeah, so my story is a very interesting one because it's about surviving and just retelling the stories and stuff like that. So I started with this image because I thought it was actually funny. On the left, that is me when I turned 10, and then on the right, that is me when I turned 14. When I turned 14, we moved to the U.S. 2009. My dad worked for the U.S. Embassy for over 20 years. So as a retirement package, we moved to the U.S. I chose these images because it's a reminder to myself of how far I've come. A few years ago, I actually got invited, the president of my home country, or the former president, she's the first female president of Africa overall. She donated her archives to Harvard, and I was invited to be one of the guests. And this image is just one of those things that remind me of how far I've came. Just start off with my art. I primarily work in charcoal. This image is of a person that worked as my undergrad. She was the lunch lady. This was my thesis piece. It was very interesting because she reminded me so much of my mother. She was one of those people, I went to a PWI, by the way, she was one of those people that everyone overlooked. You coming into the lunchroom and you just ignore her. But we kind of connected because our skin color, whatever. But her smile every day just reminded me of like things over from home. My mom is here in America, by the way, but just being not college and being away from home. We connected, and I wanted to make art about her and everyone else that worked in doing. So my thesis was about the hidden figures. There's a movie, but I wasn't really thinking about the movie when I made the series of work, but I was actually thinking about how these people are the reason why our school is running so well, but nobody knew their names. So this piece actually got to be placed. It's a very big piece, so it got to be placed in the front of the school, so that was kind of really cool, and she got to bring her family and spend time with the lyric. And then moving forward, after college, I started reflecting a little bit more on myself and who I am as a person, being born in Africa and primarily growing up here in the U.S. Just trying to really understand what it's like being an African man, even though technically I am Black. Evaluating that and just trying to understand. And this was a time that was very weird for me too, because I'm 6 foot, I'm dark skinned, and everywhere I go, people think I'm a threat. So, so it's just, reminding myself of I do not have to hide. The piece on the right is titled, on the outside, I'm patient, but on the inside, I'm enraged. And just reflecting on, like I said, my experience with going anywhere, meeting police or anyone that 6 feet dude, always wearing black, is like, this guy is a problem. But kind of really reflecting on that and processing that in a healthy way where it's not coming out of anger but out of love. So that's the reason why I made these 2 pieces. And moving forward, as you can see, I started playing a little bit with colors. The colors are not very great on the projectors, but this is soft pastels and charcoal. One thing that really got us through the war in Liberia was our faith. I tell people all the time, I'm a Christian by faith, not by religion. I don't believe in half of the stuff that people believe in as Christian or whatever. But our faith is something that got us through. I remember we had to wake up every morning and recite Psalm 91 every time there was a bomb being dropped next to our house every morning. So just reflecting on that and that experience as well. And my mom was a huge part of my childhood and our family as well. And that's why you're going to see a lot of motifs of women. Because my family, even though my dad was the quote unquote head of the house, but my family was a matriarch. My mother ran the house like a military house. She was so brave that the rebels were afraid of her. I'm not even kidding. She would yell out the house like, "Hey, I'm trying to sleep, stop the shooting," and they would stop. That's how terrified she was. And so just, you see a lot of motifs of like women in my work as well. The piece on the far right is titled Ounce of Hope. I drew this piece right after George Floyd passed. Again, during the pandemic, that anger and rage inside, I reflected on that and decided to make something beautiful, something that came out of love instead of hate. On the right, or my right, that is myself, and then on the left, that is a friend. The piece of myself is titled Planted by a Stream of Water. I feel like since I've been here, I've been blessed with a community of people who have really impacted me in ways that helped me get over a lot of my trauma. Because, someone like me grew up in the war, lived in the hood. You are expected to be an angry black man, but instead, I have a master's degree and I'm a very chill guy. So, I feel like I was blessed to be surrounded by a lot of important people in my life that helped me see the good and not just focus on my pain and trauma. The gentleman on the left, I was a high school teacher for a little while. He was my mentor. And I was a high school teacher in Baltimore City. And I know there's a lot of negative things about Baltimore City. I'm not going to add to it, but during that time, it was a very hard time for me because I got assaulted by one of my students. There's no hate to the kid. It's just he had a lot of things that he had to process through as well. But in that moment, I was struggling through a lot. That anger of like, man, this little kid literally put me in the hospital for 30 days. But I had a mentor who was just like this big dude, just like me, who understood what it's like to be a tall black dude and everyone thinks you're the brat, but you know, you're just a chill guy. And he was my mentor, so I saw him as my guardian, you know, and that's why I drew it like that. And by the way, these are all life size, so all of these drawings are roughly about this size in person. And then now we're getting into like some of my more recent works. Again, just really thinking about the narrative of just like what women play, what part women play in my life as well. So all of these women are my friends. I like to think about them are a reflection of my mother because they all have characteristics of her. They're very fierce, very scary to me, but they're all good friends. You know, I had a friend who told me she would not let me be sad, and that is the kind of friends that you need around you. These pieces are called Led by the Holy Spirit. The one on the right with this young lady, she's a friend who has sickle cell. She's never experienced real life like we do. She's always in the hospital, but she's one of those people that won't let me be sad whenever I'm like, you know, I have so much going on. There's so much things that I want to process. She's like, look at my life. I cannot leave the hospital for like more than a few days, but I still have a smile on my face. And then the gentleman on the far left, you know, as you guys can see, the sad boy. That's what I like to call myself sometimes. But just reflecting on that as well. Again, same motifs in each work. This series of work is called Silly Rabbit. I had a friend in undergrad who she saw through me. You know, she used to say I wore a mask every day I go to school. You know, I spoke very plain, tried not to be too, for like a better word, nigger-ish. And so she said I wore a mask, and she used to say, "Silly rabbit, take the mask off." And just really thinking about that as well. So I started making art about it and just trying to really reflect and document it and really understand like what it means to be a black man wearing a mask every day because I want to be accepted. And then this piece is actually aimed on him's office, actually. The one on the right. I made this piece because I honestly didn't expect myself to be here this, you know, like I'm 30 now. Like I said, I lived through a war. I don't know if I ever thought I was going to be 30. I don't know if I ever thought I was going to graduate college. So when I graduated from college, that was the first thing I thought about. Pink is my favorite color. It's very soft and gemstone. And I really wanted to capture that moment. And you will notice I don't really draw myself a lot, but all of these people are a reflection of me because I feel like as a black person, or even anybody in here, we all share the same story. So I feel like I do not have to put myself in the image to tell my story because even though my story may be a little darker than the next person, you all share the same story. And that's why you will see a lot of times I have friends or family in the images, but it's mostly about myself. And the image to the far left, that piece is titled Season Change, because that was just a time where I started to really see myself as, you know, someone who's capable of love, someone who's capable of, you know, loving other people. Because for a very long time, I was just afraid of love because, like I said, I didn't expect myself to be here. And so I started showing art. Like I said, these pieces are very large. I don't know how I started getting into gallery. I cannot tell you how, but gallery started seeking out my work. And again, I am just a kid from West Africa, mostly spending most of my early years or teenage years in the hood. So it was very unexpected when, you know, galleries started knocking on my doors or reaching out in my Instagram DMs and like, hey, we would like to show you art. Your art is very powerful. And like I said, I write as well. And, you know, my writing is a part of the art as well. So, and started to go places. And then I got my second big solo show. The city of Baltimore started supporting her as well. And then this is like the work I started making here at Tufts. So I did my master's here at SMFA at Tufts. when I got here, I started working a little bit more looser. My earlier works were very tight. I wanted it to feel very clean because I was very inspired by the old masters, like the Renaissance painters, even though I'm working in charcoal, but I wanted to really mimic that feel of like, just flexing my talent a little bit more. But when I got here at Tufts, just doing research and understanding the history of like African American artists and even like African artists as well, I actually got a travel grant to go back home through Tufts to just learn a little bit more about Liberian art. And what I really discovered is our art style was very loose. So I started challenging myself to make more looser work that leans more into the narrative and just try to make a pretty picture. And that's when I started making these. This piece with the young lady on her father's back is called Daddy Was My First Love. And that is just the relationship with my father and my sister. And my dad and I are pretty much the same person. When you first meet us, we're like this little angry person, but on the inside, we're very happy. And so you will see my newer drawings have a lot of little motifs of joy and little meanings, I'll say, I've snuck in there, Easter eggs for myself, my family, my friends who knows me very well. They can go into the art and you go, okay, you're making this joke here. Just now I'm having fun instead of like trying to make art because, art is supposed to be serious. This piece is titled Hero to My Niggas in the Hood. This is a friend, his name is Gregory Dubuisson. He's a very talented trumpet player. Both of these pieces are titled the same thing. He has similar story like mine. He's from Baltimore. He's prolific in the Baltimore art scene as well. And every time we get together, artists like artists do, when we talk about the future and the past, it's just hearing how far he's came and all of his friends he lost, to like just the life of living in the hood, and how his art has really transformed his life. And now he's playing in places that you wouldn't even imagine. And so like I tell him all the time, right now he's my favorite muse and he thinks it's funny. But I'm like, bro, like you are doing things that we talk about, stuff you sit in the room and you're like, when we get old, we will be here. You're literally doing the thing. So I'm just really proud of him. And I took his images before he started blowing up. So I joke with him all the time. I'm like, you can't take credit for this right now. And now in these pieces, I'm really thinking about myself and my relationship with my wife. So I recently got married almost 2 years ago. The piece on the far left is titled I've Seen Death, but Yet I Know Love. Like I said, when I was a kid, it's very hard for me to talk about my experience in the war because I was 7. And there's a lot of crazy things that I saw. And yeah, there are nights where I can't get through sleep, but just knowing love for me is very, very, very good. And I can't put it in words. That's why there's no one thing that came to mind. And this piece is titled Summers for Lovers. I was gonna title it something else, but when I made this piece, so I have a studio right now in Lynchburg, Virginia. I'm the artist in resident at Art Center, and a collector came in and she was like, "This piece reminds me of summer, and I'm gonna buy it, but you have to title it Summer." But and that's why it's titled Summers for Lovers. But I was originally just thinking about my childhood. My dad was a florist. Actually, that's what he did. He was in the city. And so we had all these exotic plants in our home. And he would pick them, take them to the U.S. Embassy, and then replant them. And so I grew up around different kinds of plants. I don't know much about plants. I just knew my dad did it. But I love plants. Like now my home is filled with plants and I'm learning about plants. And the saying, when you grow up and turn into your parents, I'm slowly turning into my dad. And my wife is always reminding me we do not have space in the house for plants. But plants is just one of those things that, taking care of plants really remind you how important life is, because the moment you leave a plant, they will die. So you you have to really keep an eye on it and water it every day. Sometimes you have to do the affirmation, and that's exactly how humans are. If you leave us too long, we will die. And sometimes we need affirmation, and that parallel to human and plants is so fascinating to me. And these are more of my recent pieces. This is actually my wife. She hates this piece because she says it makes her look angry. But I really like it because her cheekbones are very strong. And I think I think, it just makes her look fierce. Like I said, my mom was very fierce, so the motifs aren't her clothes. So my tribe back home is the Mende tribe. The motifs of her clothes is from that tribe. Just thinking about bringing her into my family, my culture, my tribe, because she's black, she's from Maryland. And the piece to the far left, again, it's just one of those conversations. Us as artists, the young man in the photo, he's an artist as well. He's a Baltimore painter, and that is actually a re-interpolation of his artwork. Just talking about art, we have conversation, and even when we go to art talks and art shows about how beautiful black is, that's just the skin tone of the people, but the color black. But, the people black is so beautiful. Like, when you get a whole bunch of black artists in the room, trust me, it's magic. And these are pieces that I finished literally last month. It's up in a show in the museum in Virginia right now. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about these because they're so fresh off the press. But in the moment, what I was really thinking about is, again, that softness you can see in the figure's face. The gentleman, you see how soft he looks, but exteriorly, he looks very strong. Like, he looks like he could, stop you on the street or whatever. Again, that is that same conversation that I'm having here in that drawing. This man is a very kind man, but if you're not black, you see him, he looks like he could rob you, but he's a very kind man. And with that conversation over here, did you know black is love? I really wanted to capture that in an image as well, and that's why I made this drawing of a frame. And we took so many different photos and try to really capture the essence of that. Like, what it means to be black and love, and this was my interpretation. And I really got fun with these drawings. And it is coffee stain, gouache. Gouache is the colors, soft pastels, and charcoal. And again, like I said, these are all life size, so these are fairly, except for this one, this one's slightly small. But these are very big drawings that I have. And these are two self-portraits. I've been trying to get into making more self-portraits. The one on the right is titled "Real Niggas Do Not Wear Pink," and then the other one's titled "Real Niggas Do Not Get Sad." And this is also me reflecting on just how I grew up here. Of how you have to hide your feelings, and I am in love with the color pink. I don't know why, but pink is my favorite color. But when I was in high school, I couldn't wear pink because everyone thought I was gay. So, I remember I had this pink sweater I used to wear every day to school. And then, my junior year, one of my close friends came to me. She's like, "When are you gonna come out the closet?" And I'm just like, "Wait, what's going on?" And she's like, "You wore this pink sweater for 3 years straight." And I was like, "No, I just like pink." But and it was just one of those things of I will still wear pink because I like pink, and it's not gonna stop me whether you think I'm gay or not. I'm just gonna wear pink. But just that conversation, and when you grew up in environments where you have to be tough, where you have to stay tough, you kind of hide yourself and you push aside your childlike nature. You push aside, your true self. And so just really thinking about that. And the sad part, sad is an emotion that we all have to embrace. Sadness is good, happiness is good, anger and anxiety, all of those things are good emotions. but if you do not process them, then that's when they become a problem. You know, just like how when you get a headache or something is wrong with you, you get a headache, that's your body telling you you need to drink more water, you need to do something to get better. That's what sadness is. Sadness is really telling you there's something wrong with you and you need to work at it. So I think I've been embracing a little bit more, just processing sad. And I think for my friends used to always say, you need to cry. And I'm like, what is crying? But I remember like a few years ago, maybe like a year or two ago, I sat in the bathroom and I was like, let me try this crying thing. And I cried for 2 hours. And I was just like, it just couldn't stop. And I was like, there's so much I've been holding on to. And for me to cry for 2 hours nonstop, I'm pretty sure my neighbors thought there was something going on, but I just couldn't hold the tears back. And these two pieces were made when I went to Liberia with the travel grant. Just really experiencing the culture a little bit more. I left home, like I said, when I was 14, even though that is a good enough age to remember stuff, but it's not good enough age to really understand like what it means to be a part of a culture. So going back home with a travel grant really opened me up to really understand my home a little bit more. And so I started making more art about it. The piece on the corner left is titled I killed my first chicken when I was 10. So a rite of passage back home when you turn 10, you kill your first chicken because you're gonna cook it and eat it. And that terrified me. And to this day, that still terrifies me. So when I went home, this guy, he's my neighbor's son, and he's older than me. And he was like, oh, I was home, so let's kill a chicken. And he actively just started killing the chicken in front of me. And I was just like, what is going on? And I didn't want to eat the chicken, but at the same time, I was hungry. But I took that image and I recreated that image because I remember vividly what happened when I killed my first chicken. When you kill a chicken and you do not hold it still for a few minutes, it will start running around with its head cut off. So I remember I chased around a chicken without a head for 20 minutes. And I was terrified as a kid, crying, and my grandmother was just like, you gotta catch the chicken. And I'm like, yeah, it's no head. But yes, that memory of that is such a core memory in my life that every time I tell that story, my wife cracks up. But I'm like, I was terrified as a kid. And this image is my dad and my wife's dad when we got married. My dad, I tease my dad a lot, but he's such a, and this is just an inside joke, I like to say he's such a village boy. But my dad is such a great man. His father was a chief of his village. He ran away from home, and because he wanted his kids to go to college. He knew being a chief of a village was not, it's great and all, but it was not where he wanted to be. So he ran away from home and moved to a city and started a family. So I'm always grateful to him for that. But it's always nice to teach your dad every now and then. And these are more pieces from the series of work I've been making from Liberia. The series is titled More Babies. These are my nieces actually, or grandnieces. I don't know exactly. These are my cousin kids. And just really understanding how they're processing through the trauma and pain they've gone through being born in a war. So they were born in 2003. Because the war ended in 2003. And how, because they have a community, a very tight-knit community, and how easier it is for them to really process together. Whereas for me, being here on the island, I have my mom and dad and my siblings here, but we're still spread out. One of my sisters in North Carolina, the other one's in Minnesota, and my parents is in Maryland, and I'm in Virginia. So we do not have that same level of connection or community to really talk about. And plus, my parents are old, Gen X or boomers. They don't talk about their trauma. Myself and my siblings were just on the island, but going back home and how these kids are able to just be kids again, it was just something that was just an eye-opener to me. So I started making art about it. And the reason why the art style is so different is because I really want to capture that childlike experience. And another part about growing up in a war-torn country, we got color books that people donated, but they're already filled in. So that's how I actually learned how to draw. So I went into learning that field as well. I would get coloring books. They're already filled in, so I had to draw the image out so I could color it in. That's how I got into work. And this is my side quest. I like to call it my side quest. When I graduated from undergrad, I got some friends. I was like, hey, nobody's gonna take us seriously as artists. It usually takes people like 20 years to break into the art scene, and I'm like, I got student loans now. So let's figure out a way how we can break into the art scene. So I bullied some friends into creating an art collective. And what we did was we built galleries and put them outside. And for the first few years, nobody took us seriously. We're plastic nerds, apply to places, and try to get resources, but nobody took us seriously. So I'll put everything on credit card. So we built, my friend all the way to the left, he's from Brazil, so he was the smart one who will sketch out all of the plans. I'm just the one who has the wild ideas, and he was the one who kept us in check. So we built these galleries, put them outside, got a lot of emerging artists who the art scene wouldn't take them seriously because at 20 years old you develop, and started showing their work. And the entire Maryland, Baltimore started taking notice. So that is the mayor of Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott. They started coming out, and we started getting artists that are very well known as well, which is very terrifying because the art that's up right now in its image, those artworks are worth like 25 grand each. So putting somebody's artwork outside that is worth 20 grand each with no insurance is terrifying. So every time someone walked past the art, I'm just like, please do not touch the work. Please do not touch the work. But it was a great experience. And then these are some of my works as well. So I wanted to also prove that the model works. So this is before I started framing my artwork. I had to put my work unframed outside so other artists can see what that looks like. And working with artists that work in installation as well. And this image is actually really cool to me because this gentleman right here, he's actually on the phone with his mom. He was like, bro, seeing young black men doing cool stuff is really amazing. So he called. He said he wanted to be an artist, but he got locked up and was in prison for almost 35 years. So he called his mom and was like, Mom, there are black kids pursuing art. And every time I see this image, I want to cry a little bit because it's just like, that could have been me too. But instead, somehow I got blessed and gone down this path, and I'm living the life he desired. And he's just happy that I'm doing that. And like I said, we kept doing more of this, had different types of artists, and that's Brandon in the back, the gentleman in my drawing, playing the trumpet. And it just blew up. It got so big that I had to run away from Baltimore, because I'm like, there's no way I can keep making something better and better and better. It's best to stop while it's here, then I'll let it fall apart. So I ran away. Literally, I moved here to Boston, and that's how I came to do my master's. And this is just some examples of my curatorial works as well in galleries. This work is Latoya Scott's work. She's one of my favorite people. She's a she had a show here at Harvard a few years ago, but yeah, getting to show my art next to her art, like I said, 20 years, I skipped 20 years by putting art outside and doing all that stuff, got me close to one of my heroes and people that I studied in college. And that's just an example because my work is really inspired by her work as well. And then, like I said, Baltimore really took it and ran with it, started giving me a free promotion for all of the stuff we were doing outside. We had emerging artists, established artists, and just started putting our work everywhere. And this was a cover of the Baltimore magazine, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. You really have some beautiful pieces. Okay, to finish us off, so for the last segment of the show, we will be returning to Urban Pigeons, this time with a fashion show featuring Yazbthegreat's design with a host of tough student models. Born in Haiti, Yazbthegreat carries both the vibrancy and challenges of his home country into his designs. When he emigrated from Haiti at 15 years old, the designer faced immense challenges living with different caregivers, learning a new language, and adjusting to a completely new way of life. However, he quickly discovered a new sense of safety and personal freedom as well, which pushed him to pursue his passion for art and fashion, often as a political statement of resistance. For Yazbthegreat, fashion is a bridge between heritage and innovation. He explores avant-garde sculpture, functional versatility, and cultural wisdom through his collections. The designer is committed to fashion as a transformative force. Symbols of resilience, strength, and freedom are found throughout many of Urban Pigeons' pieces. Yazbthegreat cordially invites you to step out of your comfort zone and join the flock of Urban Pigeons.
All the instruments. All the instruments. Alternate beats.
Okay, thank you all for coming. As we close tonight, I want to return to something we've been circling around. Art is not separate from resilience. It is one of the ways resilience becomes visible. When systems fracture communities, art rebuilds connection. When history is suppressed, art remembers. When voices are silenced, art speaks. This evening reminds us that resilience is not just endurance. It is expression. It is imagination. It is the courage to create meaning together, even in uncertainty.
Thank you to all our incredible artists for sharing your work, your stories, and your presence with us. And thank you all for listening, not just with your ears, but with your hearts. Please join me in one more round of applause for all of our artists. And we will continue the symposium tomorrow, starting at 12:30 in room 206, with the Mind the Gap talk. We hope to see you there.